Pacquiao'S Boxing Nation.
Manny Pacquiao, he said that after he fought Floyd Mayweather, he told Floyd Mayweather he wants to talk to him about God. Did he ever set that appointment up with Mayweather or what?
Nah, Manny Pacquiao got to worry about himself, man. You got to stop being a hypocrite and worrying about everybody else's situation about God. Manny Pacquiao got to go talk to God himself. And then stop playing in front for everybody else, man.
Because were you surprised that he didn't even mention God's name after the fight? I mean, before he said God is going to deliver him into my hands, and then after the fight he never even.
If God was on earth, if Jesus was on earth, Manny would be in an argument with him because Manny thinks he's Jesus. You see, Manny's blessing people and he's praying for people. Like the guy thinks he's Jesus. He wants to be Jesus. He wants to be God. The guy's not worshiping God. If God was on earth, he would fight with him. He would fight with him. He would argue with him. I'm telling you. He would be like, no. His ego would be like, no, man. I'm that guy, not you. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you. Look at him. He's a weird guy. The guy's blessing people. You seen him bless people? What the fuck? What are you, a priest? What the fuck? I mean. I don't know.
Did you see the interview where I think Freddie Rhodes said he was so pissed off at something? He said that if you show up to the wild card gym, he's going to fight you.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. Come on, Freddie.
Why is he so upset with you?
I don't know. Freddie knows I'm telling the truth. Freddie was a fighter at one time. He knows I'm not full of shit. Freddie was a fighter. If you were a fighter, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
So you believe deep down, because
Freddie
skill recognizes skill, you believe Freddie thought
I believe real recognizes real more than anything, more than skill recognizes skill. And I think all fighters know that what Manny did is a bit far-fetched for a human being to pull off, you know. And not because people can say, oh, it's because you couldn't do it. No, not because I couldn't do it. I've been in gyms all my life. I've seen how weight matters. I've seen sparring sessions that I wasn't involved in. I've seen fights that I wasn't involved in. That doesn't happen.
And
Freddie knows that too, because Freddie's been in gyms all his life. So I give Freddie his respect. I'm arguing with an older man. I wasn't taught that way. But I know when Freddie puts his head on the pillow, he knows I'm right. More than anything, Manny Pacquiao, when he puts his head on the pillow, knows that I'm right. He knows I know what I'm talking about. And for me, I can go to sleep with my head on the pillow, nice. He walks on water. He wants to.
Who would you like to see Pacquiao fight if he fight one more fight?
Crawford. Make him and Crawford. I think it's a makeable fight, and Crawford is one of the stars tomorrow. So yeah, it would be interesting.
The president of the Philippines, he said he wanted to see Manny Pacquiao retire. Is that somewhat of an inclination that he doesn't believe the shoulder excuse, and he just believes that Mayweather just had his number, or what?
I don't know. I don't believe the shoulder excuse. If you wanted an injection, why don't you ask for a cortisone injection if you have an injury? Why do you have to ask for a Toradol injection? Nobody goes into the fact that the reason his injection request was rejected was because he asked for Toradol. If you ask for cortisone like everybody else does when they're injured, you would have got the okay. But USADA allows a cortisone injection if you have an injury. Why are you asking for Toradol? Because you never had an injury. You were just looking for an excuse to inject yourself with Toradol, so when it came up in your system, because you were going to get tested for it, that you would have had some kind of a exemption for it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, there was no injury. No injury. He was just looking for a weird way to try to get Toradol in his system before the fight. And then when it didn't work out, fuck it, let's just go with the same excuse. We look like shit, so let's just fly with this excuse now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And normally in the history of boxing, it seems to me that people forget about the excuses and they only remember the win. Do you think that's going to be the situation, or you think people will always remember the excuse that Manny Pacquiao had when it comes to this fight?
I don't know. I don't even care.
You don't think he had surgery?
I'm sure he had surgery. I'm sure it was some kind of a scope. Yeah. It was not as
I spoke to the doctor. He's one of the most renowned.
Did you ask him for the MRI? Because I'll ask him myself. I don't care how renowned he is. Let's show us the MRI. When I got caught, I put the shit on Twitter. So show us the MRI, and I'll get my own specialist, and I'll have my own specialist check out the MRI, and I'll have him tell you how severe a tear is. Why don't we see this MRI? Where is it? It's this mystery MRI. This severe tear. Where is it?
Bob said,
let's see it. It's the most talked about tear in sports. Let's see. Can we see it? Let's see it.
And Bob said he had that same injury since the Oscar De La Hoya fight.
Yeah,
so why did he get the surgery back then?
Oscar De La Hoya fight, I know.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're saying. The one day they're saying he had it in the fight. The next day they're saying he's had it since the Oscar De La Hoya fight. Another time they're saying that he had it in camp. They don't know which excuse to use. One day they figure this excuse and they forget they used that excuse yesterday. So today they'll come up with a new one and they'll go back to the old excuse. Come on, man. We're gonna talk about the same thing all over again. And people get mad that I'm talking about Pacquiao. You guys ask me the questions, I answer them.
With Floyd Mayweather, now he's saying that he may try to break the record, the 49, and go 50. What two next opponents should he face?
I don't know. You know, whoever's hot at the moment. You know, you don't know. I mean, right now he'll pick his opponent, but by the time he goes to number 50, you know, the welterweight landscape might change, and you know, he might shift, and you know, we'll see. It's hard to say who 2 fights from now should be. The next fight, you know, there's a lot of talk about Khan and some other fighters, but you know, we'll see.